Well, bowling fans, thanks for joining us again today. Back at Castle Lanes and Racine, the High Five Gear Kickoff Classic, presented by 900 Global. We've got the boys divisions finals. Once again, Chad Source, 900 Global staffer, and UW Milwaukee head coach joining me. And Chad, we got a little bit of a modified house pattern out here for the bowlers, a little bit higher scoring, and no real clear-cut favorites out of the four bowlers that have made the finals.
No, but what you do have is you have three collegiate bowlers, and if there's one thing you got to know about collegiate bowling, they use their head. They know how to make adjustments. They know their equipment. So I'm looking forward to some really, really smart matches here.
I'm looking forward to some really high scores. Kyle Anderson in qualifying today averaged 259 in qualifying and semifinals. All of our bowlers averaged at least 235 that made the show. We're going to see a lot of strikes, and we'll be back with those strikes from Castle Lanes and Racine in just a moment. Make sure you stay tuned. I have a lot of viewers that ask me, why do you have so many of your tournaments at Castle Lanes? Well, Castle Lanes is a center that has an exceptional atmosphere. The charm of being in a Northwoods cabin while you bowl, an attentive staff on the lanes and in the lounge, all the big screen TVs and a free Wi-Fi hotspot, and being named in Bowler's Journal as one of the 95 places to bowl before you die, you have to bowl at Castle Lanes. That's why we love Castle Lanes, and you will too. The opening match from Castle Lanes, the boys division, the High Five Gear Kickoff Classic, presented by 900 Global. Familiar face here. Every tournament we have at Castle Lanes, Ryan Zagar, home center, always seems to make the show. Aaron Adams from UW Whitewater, his opponent. But Ryan's got a little more pressure on him this match because as defending champ of this tournament, if a bowler beats him on the telecast, it's an extra $50 bounty scholarship. Put a little bounty on Ryan said today, so we'll have to see how he reacts to that. Of course, if he beats everybody, he gets the $50 scholarship. And with a shot like that, he wants that extra scholarship money.
Oh, yeah, it was a great shot. Kicks out the 9. And, yeah, I think maybe that bounty is gonna rally him and really make him want to win this match.
Watch that ball sliced by the 9. Something came back across. I think it was the head pin. He got the very back of the 9 pin before it falls off. And here's a young man you're familiar with from the Wisconsin Collegiate Bowling Conference competition last year out of UW Whitewater. Aaron Adams, Roselle, Illinois. Finished in the top 100 at Junior Gold this last year down in Indianapolis. Top 8 at the Sean Yonan last season, and with shots like that, you can see why.
Yeah, great form, great follow-through. You always like that with the two-handers. When they can post a shot, it almost looks like they're just throwing with one hand. So great delivery by Aaron. So
he's using a pretty weak piece of equipment out there. He's using a 300T from Track, which is basically almost like using a urethane ball. I mean, it's a very weak reactive resin, and with his rev rate and speed, he's letting that take care of the work and just letting the ball be very, very slight on the back end.
But for him, with the higher revs, the weaker ball compensates for that, whereas like you or I, we throw something more aggressive because we have fewer revs, so it all balances out.
It looked like something that's been rolled through a parking lot. Need a little surface on that. Aaron with a great double starting off. Ryan's going to look to match him here on lane 20. Now on the girls' telecast, we saw that the bowlers on lane 20, it seemed to play a little tight for him inside and a little too aggressive for him outside. Let's see if these bowlers can come around that. And I think Ryan's got a pretty good solution there. Just get left and pitch it right.
Well, and both these bowlers with the power they have can probably take that out of the equation. So I don't think that's going to be an issue for either one of these, but we'll see what happens.
You know, the nice advantage for the bowlers coming out of this match that wins this match goes to the semifinal against Ryan Keith, left-hander. Top seed in the final match, Kyle Anderson, left-hander. No more transition for him the rest of the day except for what they do. So, unlike what we saw with the girls' show where everyone was right-handed and you could see the lanes change a little bit, even on an easier pattern such as a house shot, modified house pattern, and Ryan shows it there with 3 in a row.
Yeah, this has all of the makings of one of those 279, 268 matches where whoever just has a bad break is going to be the loser.
Well, all these bowlers on this little bit of an easier modified house pattern today were all over 235 on average to the TV show. Kyle Anderson averaged 259 today. Pretty incredible for 9 games of bowling.
Oh, yeah.
Even on a modified house pattern. Aaron posted nicely at the line and just a little aggressive on the back end to leave that 4-pin.
Yeah, it was just a touch high, and you actually saw that the pin action was a little strange on that. The pin just fell right in the. You can watch it here. It just goes right in the gutter and it just falls.
So hit the 7, decided, my work's over. I'm not doing anything else. So you can see Aaron wearing that Strikes Pro Shop t-shirt. Pro Shop down at Brunswick Zone, Glendale Heights, that he does some part-time work at during the summers and gets all his equipment drilled at. I want to thank Rich Gouchois from Strikes Pro Shop for all the help he's done with his game, especially with going from a one-handed game to a two-handed game. The first time I ever saw Aaron, he was a one-handed bowler. Then he broke his thumb in an accident, started bowling two-handed, and he's stuck with it ever since. Lots of time up on the approach. He's going to throw that ball when he's ready to. Little bit short at the release, and lucky, real lucky to just leave it.
Hang on, fielder's still falling.
So, hard to believe you can say short at the release for a two-handed bowler, but it just didn't look like he got all of it on the bottom. And lucky that 10-pin to just slide over and hit the 8 out. Instead of having an impossible spare, now he has easiest spare you could ask for. Middle of the lane. Looks like he's going to hook at it, though. No problem getting it all the way over. Covers it nicely. Keeps himself within 12 pins in the match, but when your opponent's working on 3 in a row, and you know he's Ryan Zagar, I mean, his reputation does precede him. We've seen him throw lots of strikes over the years. You hate to say over the years, but, I mean, Ryan's only 19 years old, just recently had his 19th birthday. We've seen him the first time on TV when he was 14 on a telecast here from Castle Lanes. And that was just speed dominant chat.
That was, and I mean, that was the reaction we saw way back in the girls' match of the ball just underreacting.
And he was definitely left to where he threw that first shot at lane 20 today. And, you know, it's just amazing sometimes because what we talk of, not to confuse people with topography of the lane, but all lanes are 100% level, dead level. Sometimes there's little grooves or little peaks and valleys, and that can affect how the ball rolls on the lane.
Oh, no doubt.
So, still maintains a 9-pin lead after that spare. Sees Dad Matt in the background there, wearing the Brunswick shirt. He bowls with those great guys out of Town and Country Lanes out in Burlington. They had a pretty solid team performance this past year at the USBC Open Championships in Baton Rouge. Back on the strike train to get into the commercial break for this match. Maintains a 9-pin lead, and Chad Source now will be back from Castle Lanes for the rest of this match in just a moment. Make sure you stay tuned. Halfway through the opening match. Nice and close the way we like him here in the Youth Challenge Series. Aaron Adams down by 9 pins in his 5th frame, and Chad, he's been throwing the ball good. He's just a little bit on one side or other of the pocket through the first 4 frames.
But he is staying clean, and you know that's definitely a good thing. That keeps you in the match. You don't have to worry about making up a ton of pins at that rate.
5 steps. Needs to go just a little bit around that ball return to get far enough left, but gets the ball to hold nicely.
That shot, he got out to the point that he wanted to, and you could see the reaction was exactly what he wanted, and the 10 pins reacted the way he wanted them to react.
Exactly. Just watch everything just go almost straight back into the pit. If he can get a double here in frame number 6, he can take the lead by 1 pin. And it looks like he just moved an extra board to the left from last time up on that lane. He was a little light, which is surprising he moved left, but I think he might be wanting to pitch it right into the dry a little bit more and get a little bit harder reaction on the back end.
Oh, and his feet were turned a lot further right than they were before as well.
And you can see the difference in the back end reaction. It's just, I mean, we never would have thought that when we were kids. Hey, let's make a move and change our body position and everything else. And just the talent these young bowlers have, absolutely amazing.
Oh, we've seen bowlers shift their feet to where if they're right-handed, the right foot is ahead. And you know, we would have been told, oh, no, you can't do that. But the subtle adjustments they can make now.
Ryan looking to double, get that lead back, and how about that?
There you go. Boy, that's one of those breaks right there that can get you fired up, but he doesn't get fired up. He just, you know, he's coming back. I would have been jumping all over the lanes had I tripped that out.
Yeah, watch that head pin come back over, take out the 10 pin. He knows it's a good shot, and just a little bit of a slap out there once he gets the good break to take out the 7-10 and get himself back into the lead. Now he can stretch it out if he can get 3 in a row here in his 7th frame. 5 steps high over the head backswing and just devastates the rack on 19.
Oh yeah, those pins were dancing on the deck. Great shot by Ryan.
Gets himself out in front by 19 pins. Aaron Adams not going to back down, no doubt about that. I mean, we've seen Aaron before on Youth Challenge telecast. Still looking to get his first career title under his belt. Really important to him to get one of those under his belt before he finishes his youth career. Bowls a lot of the ISYL events down in northern and southern Illinois too, and that's his career goal. He wants to get a Youth Challenge title and an ISYL title under his belt. Comes back with another great strike for his 3 in a row.
Yeah, this is kind of how I figured this match was going to end up going. And Phil, hey, you know, there's the graphic for 900 Global. New season coming out. So many good balls. Freight Train, the look, you name it. 900 Global has it right now.
Oh, that Freight Train is phenomenal. I just got mine drilled up by Joey Serraric Bowlers Pro Shop. Oh my, on a league, there's no doubt on league shots my scores have gone up. And it's not because of me, it's because of that bowling ball.
I tell you, I started out with the look and with that cover stock they have on there. It rolls right to the pocket. It's an outstanding ball.
And how about a look at knocking that 10-pin down and just couldn't quite get it out with the headpin messenger. A little disappointment in there right there, but you see he just kind of blows it off. He knows it's a bad break. He knows there's a little bit more match to go yet. He's not out of it, but he's going to need a little help from Ryan Zagar to get past him. This is going to leave him down by a mark, getting in the last 2 frames. Covers it up nicely. Switches that hard shell bowling ball. 18 pins, pardon me, 10 pins is the difference right now. Ryan can strike out for 277. Aaron's maximum score right now, 247. So double would be huge. And just slaps the 10.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what Ryan needed to do there. Aaron went up there, threw a great shot, left a 10-pin, but Ryan knew, hey, I can really put some pressure on him if I strike right here.
Yeah, right now, he could go spare strike, spare off the sheet for 250 and lock Aaron out. He gets a strike right here, it's pretty much over. It just show up for count in the 10th frame. Holds it just under his chin. See a lot of bowlers doing that wiggle, keeping their arm swing loose to start with. Nice shot out of his hand, and how can that 7-pin stand?
It was a good shot. It was, you know, just pin action in this sport sometimes does not always give you the fair break you think you should get.
Yeah, we saw more. I think we saw more 7-pins than 10-pins in the girls' TV finals. And right now, so far with Ryan here, the 7-pin switches to looks like a urethane bowling ball, so something that still goes real straight. That needs help. Oh wow!
Oh boy.
A pull left, and he knows that is going to be a huge tide turn in this match because now Aaron Adams can step up, strike out for 247, and win the match by 3 pins no matter what Ryan does. And Aaron knows it too. He's not wasting any time getting up on the approach, getting himself ready for this shot. This is the tide changer right here if he can get it. Solid off the hand. Nice shot, 10 back in the pit.
That was big right there. That sets him up for the 10th. You take a look at how the scores were situated, and if you would have gone spare there, it's still possible, but it makes it a whole lot easier with that strike.
Oh, exactly. When you can just get up there and throw 3 in the 10th and shut your opponent out, that just makes it so much easier. You know, it's done, it's over with, and you just plan on getting into the next match. And, you know, no easy competition in the next match with Ryan Keith, a couple Youth Challenge title series under his belt. And then if you get by Ryan, then you got Kyle Anderson, you know, who's our second leading all-time titleist. Taking his time on the approach, 5 steps up. That needs to get a little push. And what?
Oh.
He didn't get the break in the 8th frame to take that 10-pin out. He got it there on the first ball in the 10th. And that's where the extra revolutions he can create with being a 2-handed bowler helped him out a little bit. You watch that 6-pin to speed, keeps it out of the gutter, and just gets enough to take that 10-pin out. Real simple for Aaron. Just, I got it. It's under control. Well, if you got it, Aaron, you're going to have to get it on this shot because this one here pretty much locks the match up for you. If he gets this, he needs 8 pins on the fill ball to lock up the match. Nice extension through the shot. Oh, I thought he was going to have a chance to leave a 7-pin there. We've seen a couple of those on lane 19 in the last 2 telecasts, but he gets it. His work's not done yet, though. He needs to get 8 pins, and we saw earlier, we saw a bucket almost out of Ryan. He got lucky on this lane in the 4th frame and tripped out the 8-10 out of a 2-8-10.
Well, and this is where you see some bowlers struggle, is they tell themselves in their head, I need 8. And so then you go up there and you make a bad shot.
And he's going to throw his normal shot. Sometimes you see kids throw the high hard one there. That's a little far right. And that's by 1 pin. The 8-pin falls late. And that's going to advance Aaron Adams into the semifinal match. I don't know what came out of the back to hit that 8-pin down, but that's just, you just see the sails right out of Ryan Zagar. He knows the match is over. Of course, you get a nice break like that once the match is done, but wow. And that, unfortunately for Ryan, cost him the $50 bounty bonus on himself, too. Aaron Adams will receive that $50 scholarship bonus for taking out the defending champ. And you can see, Ryan always wants to win, but what's in your home center, and you've got great friends in the proprietors like Phil and Patty Anko here at Castle Lanes. He wasn't just winning it for him. He was winning it for them, too.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And you bowl for pride. I mean, there's a lot of scholarship opportunities for these kids, and I always tell my athletes, my students, that, when we bowled, there wasn't as much, but you bowled for the pride. You always wanted to win every time you went out on the lanes.
Well, he's just going to throw that 25-mile-an-hour rocket to try to get the spare attempt. 245 for Aaron Adams, 233 for Ryan Zagar. We've got a semifinal match coming up with Aaron Adams and Ryan Keith, and we'll be back with that from Castle Lanes and Racine in just a couple of moments.
The freight train will allow bowlers with above average rev rates to really open up the lane. Play rather deep, generating a lot of motion, and still finish hard through the pin deck. This ball really feeds off the heaviest of oil conditions. When we chose the aggressive S77 shell, we knew we had to elongate the core to provide more length, or we would have too much hook too early on the lane. By adding the energy block to the combustion core, we could raise the RG to get pushed down the lane, but also the energy block allows us to maintain the differential, which gives us that pronounced move to the pocket you see. The freight train has a perfect match of core and cover.
Semi-final match here from Castle Lanes and Racine for the High 5 Gear Kickoff Classic presented by our friends at 900 Global. Make sure you check out all the great equipment they have coming out this fall with your league season starting up. If you need a new ball, take a look at the 900 Global line. And Chad's got Aaron Adams coming off a huge victory over Ryan Zagar in that opening match.
Yeah, that match, even though it had that key open at the end, was a lot closer than you really think. 245, 233, great match by both of them.
Well, and Aaron's got tough competition here with Ryan Keith. They bowled a lot against each other in junior leagues and tournaments around Chicagoland area, and he knows he's going to have to put pressure on early, and he does it with that strike.
Yeah, these matches all are shaping up to where if you don't come out with a strike, you're giving your opponent almost an open.
So our first look today at Ryan Keith. Ryan's got a couple of U-Challenge Series titles under his belt. And back when we were days we were out at the Kalahari in Wisconsin Dells. Always got to root for the left-hander, Chad. For some reason we do. I don't know why.
I don't either.
Could be we're left-handed?
Maybe.
Could be. Going to play that way outside line of the lane, and a nice shot getting into the pocket to match Aaron's strike.
Oh, I like that looping motion, a little bit slower speed, but boy, does that ball turn and make a nice arc right into the pocket.
Yeah. Relatively simple game for Ryan. Kind of, we were talking before the match as he was warming up, kind of reminds you of Scott Devers, the old PBA pro from back in the 80s, where it was just a real slight backswing and just nice and easy through the shot. No real muscle through the shot at all. Nice post at the line. Hips a little bit farther open than usual, but that's probably because he's trying to get the ball all the way to the gutter. And an early double for Ryan. Once again, I want to thank Phil and Patty Anko, all the staff here at Castle Lanes for all their help with this Kickoff Classic. 6th year we've had that here. They've always been great supporters of the Youth Challenge Series and helped us give a lot of the scholarship money awards that we're able to do. Aaron looking to match with a double here. Kind of a false start there, Chad, it looked like. Wanted to go and then stop. Got himself reset. That's a little far right, and we can see the overreaction on a little easier pattern. If you get the ball right and slow, it's going to come back way too hard for you.
Well, and I bet you Aaron's going to look back and say, you know, I had that little bit of a false start. I probably should have just set the ball down and completely reset. And a lot of times, you know, we're creatures of habit and probably just didn't feel right to him.
Wants to get at least 3 with the polyester ball, does that. Want to make sure you maximize your count, but once again, we've seen in all our matches so far in the Youth Challenge Series here at Castle Lanes, an early lead to somebody doesn't mean anything by the time the match is done. 24 pins after 2 frames, Aaron finds himself in the hole. Aaron takes a lot of time. Once he's on the approach, before he gets on the approach, it's pretty quick with toweling that ball off and getting it set, but now getting that 5 steps. It takes a good 10 seconds on the approach and gets himself a strike.
Good comeback by Aaron there after such a, you know, a bad shot of the Greek Church, coming back and making a shot like that. That's got to make him feel a little better.
So, yeah, both these bowlers, you know, we don't have a shot clock per se on the Youth Challenge Series, but you know they know we have to fit everything into a certain time period, and both these bowlers, you know, are speeding up their usual pre-shot routines a little bit from what we see them during the tournament play, and it's nice to see that the bowlers pick the speed up a little bit. And how about picking out that 10-pin on a bowler
There we
shot?
go. That's what we like to see.
Thought I was going to stand there for a second. We've seen it out of the righties with a lot of blower 7s, and that's blower 10 that just manages to wiggle its way out. That 5 barely hits the middle of the pin and knocks it down. So, Chad, I know you as a college coach. One of the things that's a pet peeve for you as a college coach, slow bowling. So we're trying to get bowlers past that here in the Youth Challenge Series. Keep them on time.
Definitely nothing against any of your bowlers whatsoever, but our days for college bowling are so long that any time that we can have a match where the bowling, the flow of it is just quicker, I know everybody's appreciative of it. But we all have our own pace. Everybody's got their own pre-shot routine. You got to be comfortable when you throw the ball, so we definitely don't ever want to encourage bowlers to think, hey, I got to speed things up here.
Yeah. And almost the exact same shot for Ryan there that he had on lane 20 the frame before, but this time can't get the 10-pin out with the 5. But needs to spare this up and keep that nice early 30-pin lead over Aaron Adams. Polyester ball right at the 10-pin.
And what I really like about Ryan's game is if you watch when he follows through, he just really holds that position all the way through until the ball almost hits the pins. It's very nice.
So Aaron's going to have to make an adjustment at that first round. We saw him get right through the nose on that ball. Looks like he's made a slight move. Yeah, he's got that ball return he has to go around, though. He's so deep on lane 20 that he's hugging the ball return right now. You're going to actually see him take a step to get around the ball return. Almost slides in the gutter. And once again, he's almost in the exact same spot and leaves a 6, 7, 10. And you can see the struggle on his face going, all right, I made a move. It still went high. Now what do I have to do? And if I open here, I'm down 40 pins with 6 frames to go.
And he's going to have to do something quick, whether it's a ball change, a release change. Something major has to be done.
So make sure, well, he's trying to get 2. Looks like he got 1 out of that one. So it's going to give him 52 in the 4th frame and put him down by 47 pins to Ryan Keith. All of our top finishing bowlers today getting awards from Trophy Athletic. I want to thank the Wagner family for everything they do for our Youth Challenge Series bowlers. If you ever need workplace awards, special awards recognition, give Trophy Athletic a call or stop by them on the website at trophyathletic.com. Let's see if Ryan can get himself Aaron can get himself a strike here before we get to the commercial break. Boy, no problem on lane 19, struggling on lane 20. We got to take a commercial break. Ryan Keith will be back to try to extend his lead in just a couple of moments. Make sure you stay tuned. To keep on time, we had the bowlers bowl through the commercial break. In Ryan Keith's 5th frame, nice shot to the outside lane and just lucky enough to get that 10-pin out late. He's looking to extend his string in the 6th frame, but comes up a little weak in the pocket, leaves a little bit of a light 7-pin. Switches to that polyester bowling ball, no problem covering up the spare. And Aaron Adams gets up looking for his first strike on lane 20 at Castle Lanes in his 6th frame. Once again comes up high, lucky to just leave the 610, but he can't shake the bad breaks off. Goes to convert the spare, chops the 6 off the 10, and with that we rejoin the match, the 7th frame. Down by 59 pins. Yeah, this one's unfortunately pretty much over unless Aaron ties Ryan's shoelaces together on the next 4 shots.
Well, I think it's important, with Carlina and with Aaron struggling. You made mention of Tom Doherty shooting 100 on national TV and people saying, well, there's, that's bowling for you. But you have to remember, these bowlers all bowled well enough to get to this point to make it to TV. And that's why. You see the shot right there. Aaron's not going down without a fight, but yeah, all too often I think that bowlers, they struggle on TV and, well, I can do that. Well, you had to get there first.
Exactly, and it's 4 strikes on lane 19 for Aaron, 3 opens for him, and that's really the difference in this match right now, and that's why Ryan Keith's found himself out over 60 pins here, if he can get another strike. Waist high, just drops that ball into the swing, simple 4 steps. Ho-hum, I'm in the pocket, ho-hum, another strike for me. He's calm, cool. I mean, he's like this off the lanes, on the lanes. He's just very quiet, very calm, cool, collected. And, yeah, the nerves are there, I'm sure, on the inside, but he hides them very well.
I don't know if I necessarily ever believe a bowler that says they never get nervous when they're going for a 300 game. They don't get nervous when they're bowling on one of your shows. Because in some ways you need those butterflies because that's what keeps you going.
Once again, gets that ball out to about 3rd board on the left side, and once again, another strike for Ryan Keith. Out to a 69 pin advantage. This one pretty much over. Aaron just trying to save face, and look what we got for Aaron. We got a ball change.
New ball.
And how much do you think he's going to be kicking himself if he strikes on this shot, Chad?
Well, and that's the whole thing is all he can take away from this is, hey, I learned I got to make adjustments a little quicker.
Gets a little more, gets a lot more push out of that ball.
And, us as bowlers, we like our certain bowling balls. We get stuck with them. We don't want to change from them. So, that's probably just Aaron got caught up in that, wanted to throw that one piece, and unfortunately it wasn't the right one.
Yeah. And with both these bowlers getting ready for the college seasons, Aaron Adams with UW Whitewater, Ryan Keith at St. Ambrose out in Davenport, Iowa, and our top seed, Kyle Anderson, also goes to St. Ambrose. I mean, it's like as you said, Chad, it's a learning experience. These kids are going to get in their first college tournament. The first big one's right here in Milwaukee with the Midwest Collegiate Classic up at AMF Bolero on October 6th and 7th. And they need to come out of the gates. It's kind of like almost like a Daytona 500 of college bowling.
Yeah, it is, and it's always been one of our Achilles' heels. Is for some reason we've always struggled at that tournament. You come out and you shoot 900 your first game, which at first you don't think is bad until you look around and you see 1050, 1080, 1100, and yeah, getting this experience early on is definitely going to benefit both these bowlers.
And Ryan Keith once again in the pocket, of course, gets himself 3 in a row. Could shoot 259 if he gets all 3 in the 10th. Aaron's in back just talking to his friends going, what am I going to do? So, I mean, the kids Ryan's on fire right now. We saw it in the semifinal match for the girls' side. Liz Kramer shot 250 and change. I believe she was at 258 for her game. So I think Aaron's just enjoying the scenery here at Castle Lanes right now, watching the geese and ducks fly overhead and checking out the full moon over lane 15. And yeah, we're going to fast track through the end of this match. It's no longer in doubt. Aaron's got the handshake out already. He's got a smile, bright smile on his face. He knows that he didn't bowl as good as he could. Giving the crowd a little laugh there. But hey, he could still strike out here and still finish with 200. So with 3 opens here, 3 big opens all in the same lane. And of course, ball change. You always strike after a ball change when it doesn't matter.
Oh, sure.
I think he wants that back. We'll have to ask him after the match why he thought he could stick with that ball on lane 20. He'll probably just say, I thought I was going to stop hooking as hard and just
there you
keep
go,
going.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, especially when you're the only one out there. You're making your own transition. You don't think one ball is going to change it that quick, and sometimes it can.
Well, especially with his power. I mean, that's obviously what it was. It was a pretty aggressive ball, and boy. Let's see. Oh, and there we got the over again. So who knows? If you would have won this match, you probably would have had to make another ball change pretty quickly as well.
It's an all-lefty final, Chad. We've got Kyle Anderson, Ryan Keith, teammates at St. Ambrose that bowled against each other for years in junior leagues and tournaments, and I'm not picking a winner in that match. I guarantee it'll take it probably at least 250 to win that match.
I'll go with the lefty.
So a little overhook there by Aaron, having a little fun with that spare conversion. 258 to 187. Ryan Keith advances into the championship match. We'll be back with that final match from Castle Lanes and Racine for the High Five Gear Kickoff Classic, presented by 900 Global, in just a moment. I have a lot of viewers that ask me, why do you have so many of your tournaments at Castle Lanes? Well, Castle Lanes is a center that has an exceptional atmosphere. The charm of being in the Northwoods cabin while you bowl, an attentive staff on the lanes and in the lounge, all the big screen TVs and a free Wi-Fi hotspot, and being named in Bowler's Journal as one of the 95 places to bowl before you die, you have to bowl at Castle Lanes. That's why we love Castle Lanes, and you will too. All right, bowling fans, once again, you wait all day for the championship match here from Castle Lanes and Racine. The High Five Gear Kickoff Classic, presented by our friends at 900 Global. And of course, our friends at High Five Gear, Todd Molbeck and all of his staff. Best bowling jerseys out there. See Kyle Anderson wearing his, sitting in the back, waiting for Ryan Keith to take his first shot here in the championship match. And a little momentum for Ryan coming in, Chad.
Oh, yeah. Shooting 258. Really having never lost the pocket all day. I mean, he's always been right there.
Comes up nice. And of course, as soon as we talk about momentum and things of that nature, rip a 710. Why not?
Sorry about that. Yeah. Blame that one on us.
So you can see, first frame, he's not overly concerned. He knows he made a relatively good shot. I mean, hitting the pocket just a little bit weak. Weak 7-pin, blow the 5-pin past the 10. So, and the worst he can do here is walk out with 9 pins if he gets the one like he's supposed to. Cross lane at that 7-pin. Yeah, try giving it an effort to bounce it out. If he would have made it, it would have been a $100 scholarship from Essential Bowling Concepts this season, thanks to our friends at High Five Gear as well. If they make a 710 or a big 4 on TV, it's $100. If they shoot a 300 game on TV, a $300 scholarship courtesy of High Five Gear. Well, here he is, 2012 Chuck All-Star tomorrow. David Dom's Sportsmanship Award winner at Junior Gold this year. The human pretzel, Kyle Anderson, ripping on the bomb, and a little weak on lane 20.
Yeah, I don't think that would be textbook approach that we would teach a lefty, but he can repeat it, it's consistent, and that's all that matters.
The pins don't know what form you're using to try to knock him down. And with all Kyle's accolades, we had to make his mom, Sue, stop writing bio sheets for him because she was getting writer's cramp every time he was done. I started feeling guilty about it. So all the titles he's got, numerous ISYL titles, numerous Youth Challenge Series titles. They said 2012 Chuck All-Star tomorrow. That's pretty good company to be in with bowlers like Sean Rash. Good company to be in. Whenever you're ready.
Yeah, that's not just a local scholarship. That's nationwide.
Yep. And he's a good kid, too. I mean, to get named the David Down Sportsmanship Award at Junior Gold, out of 1,800 bowlers that were there, he was one of 3 nominees for that award. That's pretty impressive as well. That's not just having a good game. That's having good talent on and off the lanes as a sportsman.
Yeah, total respect of your peers, and sometimes that means more to a bowler or to an athlete than anything else.
Yeah, because it is the bowlers that do vote on that sportsmanship award, and to get that, pretty phenomenal. Well, Ryan Keith's going to try to bounce back off that pocket 710. I don't think he's making any changes. Yeah, it looks like he's in the same spot. Kyle did get some practice balls during the commercial break to get accustomed to the pair, and Ryan's just playing the same line he was, and 10 in the pit again.
Yeah, I don't see why he would make an adjustment. Yeah, you got another lefty on the lanes, but you're coming off 258, and until you're going to force me to move, I'm going to stay right there.
Once again, our friends at 900 Global, the presenting sponsor of this tournament. I want to thank them for all their support. Associate sponsor for our entire fall swing of youth challenge tournaments and a couple of our adult events as well. So help support them. They support televised bowling in Wisconsin. If you're looking for a new bowling ball, please check out the 900 Global line and almost a pocket 810 there for Ryan.
Yeah, now that might be a lane he might have to adjust on just a little bit, but we'll see what happens later on in the match.
Yeah, pocket 7-10, then your next shot, solid 8-pin. Yeah, could be the ball could be getting a little skittish reaction on the back end. Sometimes it goes a little long, too much angle into the pocket. Next ball hits a little carry down oil, doesn't get through the pocket like it should. Might be a little bit of a line change or a ball change. Ooh, that needs some help.
Well, you said he almost left an 8-10, so he probably heard you say that.
Trying to make it, apparently. Well, early 11-pin lead for Kyle Anderson. Looking to extend it to 21 if he can get a double here. Wearing that USBC Junior Gold jersey. Have one similar to that. Don't have all the USBC Junior Gold stuff. I'm a little old for Junior Gold. But I'd like to thank High Five Gear for all they do. They actually came out with a Youth Challenge Series jersey for our bowlers this season. And a tough break for Kyle there with a ringing 7-pin.
It was a good shot. You know, this is where you can start to get a little frustrated, and he's got to watch out, because when you can't catch that double and you've thrown a couple of really good balls in a row and you think, this is where I want to take control of the match. So he's just got to take his time, run this down, hit the next lane. Especially when you've seen the situation in the semifinal match where
Aaron Adams struggled on a lane. He couldn't get it down. Yeah, it did happen to be lane 20. It's on the opposite side from Kyle. But where you let the match get away from you and you've got no chance of coming back. Well, nice close match, 11 pins after 3 frames. Want to thank our friends again at Barbier's Italian Inn for all their support. Been with us since day 1 on the Youth Challenge Series. If you ever need going downtown for a Bucks game or going to Miller Park for a Brewer game, looking for someplace great to eat, great pizza there at Barbier's Italian Inn. Garlic bread's to die for, no doubt. See a lot of bowlers doing that wiggle on the approach with their hands, keeping their arms loose, not so they don't tighten up in the hands and shoulders. And just gets the 10-pin out of there.
Yeah, a lot of bowlers use that as a way for them to trigger themselves to start bowling. You rock the ball back and forth, and when you feel you're really balanced and it's loose, it's time to go.
Watch that 5-6 combination, get the 10-pin out of there. Ryan Keith getting himself set. Simple 4 steps. Covers almost the whole approach in those 4 steps. And a great shot to get all 10 back.
There we go. And that's why, if you ask, does Ryan need to adjust? Boy, I don't think so. He's always been in the pocket all day. I'd be too worried about going too far away from that.
I think they'd be good Baker doubles partners right now. Kyle's only striking on lane 19. Ryan's only striking on lane 20. Baker doubles, they're perfect through 4 frames. Instead, right now, we've got a couple of almost Dutch games going out there. Dutch 200, one of the few achievements in bowling I haven't had, Chad. I don't think either bowler is looking for that today on the TV show.
No, it's one of those awards that it's cool to win. You don't see them very often, but it's underrated. I don't know.
Frustrating because one lane you can't do anything. Yeah, you can't do anything. This is the award you get for not doing everything right on one lane for a game. So, always one of those awards. It's just like it'd be kind of neat to win. There were some tournaments out there like Willow Creek. If you shoot a Dutch 200, you get $200 in cash. That'd be fun to do a Dutch 200 game at. Other than that, yeah, I don't need another refrigerator magnet from the USBC. Well, we're going to get to our commercial break for this match. Half a game to go. Join us from Castle Lanes in just a couple of moments for the rest of the High Five Gear Kickoff Classic. Spectators still clamoring here at Castle Lanes of Racine. You see Ryan Keith's twin brother Adam up in the crowd cheering him on. And we've got a nice tight match through 4.5 frames here with Kyle Anderson stepping up in his 5th frame with a slight lead of 11 pins. Hasn't struck on this lane so far in his first 2 shots, Chad. And
he still hasn't.
Yeah, and that was kind of an odd ball reaction because that ball went real long and didn't make any move hardly on the back end. Where the first 2 shots in that lane, he had more of an angular finish on the ball.
Yeah, it'd be curious, did he miss it at the bottom of the swing? Did he get a little firm with the speed? Either one of those is going to have that same reaction.
Switches to that polyester ball. One of the best spare games out there. Cross lane. And that's, wow, and of course, there's that best spare game jinx I got to throw out there apparently. Doesn't get it across that oil in the middle. An easier pattern. You got to contend with that extra oil going cross lane on spares, and you kind of bit him on that one.
Well, Phil, that's a spare combination. we normally don't shoot at it. A 6'9" or a 4'8" for a righty is just not a real common one to have to shoot at.
And you have the chop possibility in play by chopping the 6 off the 9 and trying to avoid that by going a little light. Totally missed the 6 pin on that shot. See if Kyle can bounce back here. And of course he's going to strike on lane 19. There we go. Which means, well, let's just give Ryan Keith a strike here on lane 20 because that's all he's done on 20 is strike this game. So, well, we can't do that. We got to let him throw the ball. But as you can see, both bowlers struggling on one lane. Kyle struggling on lane 20. Ryan struggling on 19. 4 steps to the line. Could hold that post till about a week from Tuesday. And, of course, lane 20 is good to him. Now he's just got to figure out 19. 1 pin match. Each bowler with 3 strikes, 2 spares, and an open so far through 6 frames. And they're bowlers at St. Ambrose. They know each other's games. They know if the lanes are changing a little bit, if they're crossing each other's lines. You think they know what move they would have to make off the other player. You think somebody would be able to get a double or 3-bagger strung together here pretty soon. Because if you would have told me at the beginning of the match that it would take 220 to win, I would have said no way. 250 at least.
Well, and it's curious you bring up that they're teammates. So collegiate bowling, communication is key. So normally you'd go back and say, hey, I'm seeing some underreaction. Why don't you move here? He's your opponent today, so you really can't do that.
Yeah, exactly. And a bad break for Ryan there. He got that ball in the pocket, left that little bit of a blower 10-pin. Spare here is huge because it helps him maintain staying within a pin, and he does it. Yeah, if you would have told me that possibly 200 could win this game at the rate they're going, I wouldn't have believed it before the match started. I mean, Kyle's low game coming into today was 229. Other than that, every game was at least 247 or higher with a pair of 279 games. The man's been on fire all day, and all of a sudden he gets under the TV lights, and it's not the pressure of the TV lights. He's been here before. And a great shot. He finally makes an adjustment on 20 and rings another 7-pin.
Yeah, you couldn't make really a better shot, or he couldn't hope to make a better shot. Obviously, he could have hoped to strike, but good shot. He's just got to run this down.
Just like his shot in the 3rd frame where it just rang the 4-pin around the bottom of the 7-pin. And you can't sit there and mope and gripe about it right now. You've got a match you're 1 pin behind on. Well to the right on the approach. 6 steps to the line. Dead on the 7. Well, what do you do if you're Ryan and Kyle right now? You've got a tight match. You know your opponent could put together a double or 3-bagger any time now. Do you make any adjustments when you go back on your bad lane on your next shot? It's tough.
You have to, but the question is, what adjustment do you make? Do you go further outside? Do you go further inside? Do you make a ball change this late in the match?
So 3 for 3 so far for Kyle on this lane. And that unusual pin reaction again from being a little light and another 6-9 combination. I don't think I've ever seen him leave that more than once in a tournament. Now he's left it twice in 5 frames.
And he's kind of shaking his head going, I really don't have an answer to this right now. And that's a frustrating feeling. Especially
when you've been pretty much striking at will all day like he has. I mean, to get out here and average 259 is just phenomenal. And now you're looking at a game that's going to be 50 under your day average if you can strike out.
But you just got to keep telling yourself, might be 50 under my average, but if it's 1 more than my opponent, I still get the title.
So, well, Ryan up on his good lane. He just saw that Kyle didn't strike on his good lane. Just right over the same spot he's been all day, and once again, 10 pins down on lane 20. Well, the key to the match right now, who's going to strike on their bad lane in the 9th frame is really it.
I think you're absolutely right, and we'll see what Ryan decides to do over here on lane 19.
So his maximum score right now, 219 if he strikes out. Kyle's maximum score if he strikes out is 205. A ball change. Did you see that, Chad?
This late in the match. This is gutsy.
Definitely up that outside line. That is the move of the year right there, if it holds on to win. Wow.
That's trust. That's trust in your equipment. Trust that you know that your gut is telling you the right thing to do. That's a championship move right there.
He switched to a ball that was a little less angular on the back end on lane 19, where he was having problem kicking corners. And that one stayed a little more flush in the pocket for him. Amazing. Now, Kyle knows that he needs a strike here. There's no doubt if he wants to have any chance to win. 6 steps to the line, rips it up on the bottom. And another, he's had 3 really good shots that have left 7 pins on lane 20. That wasn't a ringing one, but he was still well in the pocket.
Well, you know, you hear from people, well, just stay there. They're going to start falling over. Well, maybe in a 3-game match you have that luxury, but this is 10 frames, and you got to make a move a little quicker.
And there's a championship on the line. There's a good chunk of scholarship money, $250 in scholarship money on top today. It's only $170 for second. So, hey, that's a couple of books at well, a book at school nowadays.
Well,
the way college
it depends on the class, but yeah.
Yeah. But still, every little bit helps these kids when they go to college. And you can see the look on Kyle's face right now going, I got to strike out to just make my opponent mark. So, Lane struck on all but 1 so far this match, 3 for 4. Looks good going off his hand, and 10 in the pit.
There you go. There you go.
Well, if he can strike out here for 195, that would force Ryan to get a mark in the 10th frame. If he doesn't strike on this ball, he could get 185, and that would just let Ryan basically go 9 off the sheet, and he'd be at 188. Pardon me, 187. So that would be a win. Scrunch, the rip on the bottom, and another 7-pin.
Boy, yeah, the flat gutters just swallowed up that pin.
It could be interesting to hear what you have to say after the match, just about as much on fire he was all day, and just have to wait an hour to bowl your final match and just run into problems with the 7-pin just isn't agreeing with. He carries any of those 7 pins, he's ahead in this match, and he makes Ryan strike out in the 10th frame to beat him. So right now Ryan just needs count, and he'll be the 2012 High 5 Gear Kickoff Classic champion. Nice off his hand. There's your champ, Chad.
Yep. Boy, that great match by both bowlers. You know, Kyle can't look and say, boy, if I would have made this shot better, because he was there all day. And Ryan, what a call to make a ball change that late in the match.
Absolutely. That was the big difference in the match. Not only is Ryan going to get the $250 scholarship, he's also going to get a 900 Global Freight Train bowling ball. And he's also going to get the opportunity to purchase a Champions jersey at a great discount from High 5 Gear. Doesn't matter now. If he spares this up, it's 208. He's the champion. He's still a competitor. Look at it. He's eyeing that 7-pin. He wants to make this spare get off the lanes, Chad. No matter what. Awesome, awesome match. I mean, you got to take your hat off to both competitors there. Covers that 7-pin for the 208 to 185 win. Ryan Keith over Kyle Anderson. Chad Source and I are going to wrap up this entire tournament and everything from Castle Lanes for you in just a minute. Make sure you stay tuned.
Here's your High 5 Gear Player of the Year point standings after 2 events. This season's Player of the Year will receive a custom award courtesy of High 5 Gear. Great custom jerseys where the only limitation is your imagination. High5gear.com.
Barbiere's, a Milwaukee institution since 1963. Great Italian food for dine-in or carry-out, and great times for your family and friends. Barbiere's, in the heart of South Milwaukee, and near Miller Park on Blue Mountain Road.
Well, Chad, before the final match, if you would have said it would have only taken 208 to win a match between Ryan Keith and Kyle Anderson, I would have taken odds, and then I would have said no way.
No, it was definitely a thinking match towards the end, and I'm still kind of speechless over a ball change that late in the match, and it worked out, and that's what took him to the title. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, Ryan Keith's ball change in frame number 9, getting him the double that he extended to do a 3 in a row, that first ball in the 10th, and locked up the title for him. Definitely nominated for ball change of the year right there. No doubt about it. Well, that's it for the action from Castle Lanes, but we're not done with the Youth Challenge Series action yet. We're going to be at Motion Plus Lanes for the Motion Plus Open. They've hosted a lot of our action adult tournaments there. First time we're there with the kids. I think the kids are going to like the place. I think the scores will be a little bit lower because you're going to be on the Highway to Hell pattern.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, it's a pattern my college kids have practiced on. It causes some headaches, but it still can promote some pretty decent scoring.
We'll be back with that from Motion Plus Lanes and our great host, Kerry Catania there. I want to thank all of our sponsors once again on the Youth Challenge Series. And for my friend Chad Source, I'm Phil Brylo, and parents, take the kids bowling. They'll have fun for life. We'll see you from Motion Plus Lanes.